Colin Kaepernick, he did protest the national anthem. Kaepernick remained seated during the national anthem on Friday's preseason game against the Packers, citing racial injustice in America as his reason. Now, many people reacted passionately over the weekend, some in support of Kaepernick's right to protest, and then others, they're disturbed by his actions. Here's how Kaepernick further explained his stance.
I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change. And when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, you know, I really respect you for what you're doing and what you're standing for. So to me, that's something that I know what I'm doing, what's right, and I know other people see what I'm doing is right. It's something that we have to come together, we have to unite, we have to unify and make a change.
Eagles rookie linebacker Mike Tavares told ESPN today that he will also sit during the Star-Spangled Banner in his next preseason game in support of Kaepernick. So, guys, if Colin continues, as he said, he's going to continue to sit out the anthem until he sees some significant progress in the state of racial relations in America. As he continues to do that, do you think this could be contagious and Ephraim maybe see other guys sit out with him?
It could be contagious. First of all, let me start by saying that I understand what he's trying to do, right? I get what he's trying. He's trying to make us aware of the issues. My only problem is that by him not standing for the national anthem and doing it the way he's doing it, it's taken away from his actual protest, right? He's protesting for Black Lives Matter, and all we're talking about is him being unpatriotic and him not standing for the standing and saluting the flag. We're not talking about the issues. And that's my whole thing. Me and Braylon were talking earlier, and my thing was it would have been great if he would have got together with some of his teammates and came up with something that they could do that would keep the focus on the actual issue, right? Like, the NFL will fine you if you alter your uniform. Right. So if they decided they wanted to wear a black patch or armband or something like that, and then the NFL came out and said, hey, every time you guys do that, we'll fine you. If they would have come out together collectively and said, hey, look, we'll take that money because the fines are supposedly go to charity when a player is fined for any infraction, and we want to donate that money, if it's okay with the NFL, to the Black Lives Matter movement. Now we're having a whole nother dialogue. Right? So that was my whole thing. I understand what he's doing. I just wish he would have, you know, went about it a different way.
Right. I think that's an interesting point, the idea of collaboration and communication, which would have been key. The idea that he didn't just go and do this on his own.
Right.
So you guys are in the locker room. What exactly does he owe to his teammates in that locker room? And then twofold, what do his teammates owe him if he feels a way and has an opinion?
I don't think Colin Kaepernick owes his teammates anything. I think what he did and the reason why he explained what he did were very self-explanatory. He says this isn't about the troops over there. This isn't about the people that serve for our country. It's not even about America. It's more so along the injustices that I see on a day-to-day basis. And this is how I want to show my support. This is how I want to take my nonviolent stand. With that being said, now that you've had that, as opposed to divide the locker room, you guys just sit down and talk. Hey, Colin, so, you know, I appreciate what you did. I support what you did, but maybe let's get on the same page so that we can do something together. Like he said, once you get on the same page and you have 53 people doing it as opposed to one, now it's very different. Now it looks like a movement. Now it looks like something the NFL could get behind or the fans can get behind, as opposed to one act of unpatriotism, as they say. It wasn't unpatriotic once he explained it, but the way in which he went about it, it looked that way and it took away from Black Lives Matter. So do you think more people will sit as this continues on? I don't think so, personally.
Because the scrutiny is too great. A lot of guys don't want to be under that hot of a bulb alone. I mean, what Colin Kaepernick, let's not, by any stretch of the imagination, it took big balls to do what he did.
Courage.
Like, seriously, it's a lot of courage. I mean, that was huge. But I just want it to be seen for what it is. Not that he's against America, not that he's the first thing people said was, how can you be against America and it allowed you to make all this money?
That has nothing to do with what he was talking about.
That's
injustice.
A terrible argument.
But that's what happens when you open yourself up to something like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully it'll all shake itself out and move on. But, you know, I salute what he's trying to do, and I understand what he's doing.
You know, it's often the people with the power, with the platform, and with the success, sometimes with riches, that need to stand up for those who are oppressed and don't have that same platform. Yep. So I hate that argument, but we do have to move on. We do have to move on. Up next, Tony Romo is out 6 to 10 weeks with another back injury. Should he be worried about getting his job back if and when he's healthy? We will discuss.
Sports Nation is presented by Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back, Sports Nation. Yeah. It's great energy in here. Bring your own energy. All right, let's talk even more NFL with, oh no, Romo.
He's hurt again.
I can't believe it. Tony Romo will be on the sidelines again this season after suffering a compression fracture of his L1 vertebrae. Ugh. He is expected to miss 6 to 10 weeks, which means we will be seeing more of the backup, Dak Prescott, who has been the stud of the preseason. Here's Stephen Jones on the Cowboys' current situation at QB. I can't imagine a scenario where Tony's not our quarterback when he's ready. But things happen. You know that. You know what happened to Bledsoe and Tom Brady. I'm sure Tony's aware of that. But the reality is Tony's going to come back for us and play great, we believe. Braylon, if Dak steps in and balls out, should it be his spot?
I think it should. A lot of people would just say, oh, you know, we'll see what happens. But Tony's going to be the guy because he's always been the guy. The problem is he has always been the guy. He's never had anybody that's come in and stepped up and won games. If Dak comes in and he's 6-1, 7-0, 4-2, when Tony comes back, now Jerry has a situation where he's like, all right, that could be the future of this ball club. Tony hasn't played that good in the playoffs at all. Tony hasn't played at all in the last couple of years. Should we go in a different direction? Tony's still 35, making a lot of money. They could trade him to a team that needs a quarterback, i.e. Denver Broncos, and get a lot in return for him. So this could be all hypothetical, but it's something for Tony Romo to think about.
Well, Ephraim, what do you think about the fact that Jones was so strong in his conviction? Did he have to do that? Did he have to shut the door on the opportunity for Dak to be his guy? Or does he do that to support his guy, Romo, and also take some pressure off of the young guy?
What I took from that statement is, Tony Romo, you're in trouble. That's what I got from that statement. Whenever
you really read between the lines.
Management comes out and says, hey, we don't know if Tony Romo comes back and Dak is playing well, we don't know. Whenever he mentioned Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady, that statement right there lets you know exactly, and lets you know exactly where their mindset was. If Dak Prescott comes out and he's on fire, like you said, 4-2, 5-1, 7-0, it could happen. Right. If that happens, I don't believe it's any way that they can go back to an injury-prone the last 2 years, Tony Romo, who has not shown up in the playoffs.
Who's 35.
36 now. Turned 36 in April. I don't see any way that the organization can go backwards.
And you're talking about Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. Tom Brady was supposed to play maybe down the line 5 years later.
Right.
Dak Prescott, they drafted him to play.
They just gave Drew Bledsoe $100 million when he got hurt, and they sent him off. So it lets you know right there. It's a youth movement. We said it earlier in the A block. It's a youth movement. Whenever you have a young talent who shows that he can play, and I'm impressed with what Dak did this preseason. Even though it's the preseason, a lot of people say that. In his mind, he's not thinking it's the preseason. In his mind, he's going out there playing it like it's opening day.
But how much harder is it when you have to be the guy? I mean, it takes pressure on you when you know I only have to come in here. This is Tony's spot.
See that right there?
It's very different.
4th-round draft pick. He doesn't have any pressure on him. First-round draft picks have pressure. 4th-round draft pick, whatever you do good, it's magnified. If you do something bad, if you have a rough game, he's a 4th-round draft pick. He's young. He's going to learn. He has all the cards in his favor right now. All he has to do is go out there with the same mentality, ball out, and let the chips fall where they may.
All right, guys, we got to move on. We're running out of time. On to the next NFL topic. We talking about preseason, not the regular season. We talking about preseason. Cam Newton struggled against the Patriots Friday night, finishing 13 of 29, passing for just 100 yards and 2 interceptions. Here's Cam talking about his performance after the game.
It's just eye-opening. You know, like I said, there's no need to panic or press the panic button. But for us, we do need better production from everybody, including myself. There's times in the game where I force certain things I shouldn't have, and I just have to be more mature and have more understanding of the offense.
Ephraim, you had a strong reaction. I just want to know, is it to what he's saying or is it more to his hat?
I don't even hear what he said. I couldn't get past that hat. I don't know what's happening right now.
You said he had to be more mature. Was he talking about the hat or the gameplay?
Is that Beverly Hills Hillbilly? He has a feather in the side of that thing.
It's a preseason hat. It's not a regular season hat. It's a preseason hat. You can do anything.
God. Please, and unbutton one of your buttons. It's like he's going to swallow and choke himself.
All right.
Lord.
Well, Berlin, before we get to the X's and O's of this, I want to say your hat here today, you really represented and brought it. You brought it.
Nice.
Hat game on point.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's nice.
That's a hat.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, we'll get into his comments, though. It is just preseason. However, these guys came off of a disappointing Super Bowl loss. This is your quarterback. What kind of tone and effort do you want to see from them right now?
I think you're looking at two different teams right there. You're looking at a team that knows they're not going to be without the best quarterback, arguably, in the NFL, which is Tom Brady. So they came out with a different defensive strategy, a different offensive strategy. They're really trying to show who they can be over those first 4 games of the game. Carolina, obviously, they're a little younger, they're a little more laid back, they're a little maybe more arrogant right now. And let's face it, it is the preseason. They don't want to get hurt. Things are hitting on 9 cylinders. They didn't come out the same way the New England Patriots came out, and they got behind, and it showed. I don't think that this will be the same team that you see on the first week of the season. I just do not.
It won't. It's preseason, right? What players, especially veteran players, want more than anything is for preseason to be over. All right? The last thing you want to do is go out there and Tony Romo your back in a preseason game. You want to get in, you want to get out, and that's the whole point, and that's the mentality. It's hard to force yourself as a veteran player to get up for a preseason game just like you do a regular season game. It's just impossible.
All right, guys, as much as I want this to continue to go longer, we do have to go to break. So first, check out Blake Bortles' explanation of what went wrong for the Jags offense last night against the Bengals. Listen closely. He's really about to break down the hows and the whys for you.
And a little frustration out there tonight. You knew this defense was going to provide you a really solid test. What did you take away?
Well, we played pretty bad. I don't think they did a whole lot of things to stop us. We played pretty bad at every position, and usually that's what happens when you play bad. You don't score a lot of points.